Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Superman Camelot Falls, Volume 1 and 2. Take a look at these comic covers right here. Now, Camelot Falls is a very much different Superman story than a lot of the other Superman stories out there, at least for the most part, because this is a very personal Superman story. This is a very moral dilemma-ish Superman story than all the others. This isn't, fight the good fight, break things and beat the shit out of stuff kind of Superman story. This is a story where Superman's in conflict on whether or not he should do something or if he should not do something. And it really could affect the world as a whole. So with that said, let's actually get into the story itself. There's a few subplots in the story, but overall there's one big plot where they all tie together. Now the first issue isn't really necessarily important to the story itself. It's a Monday in the day of Superman. It's a fun issue. It reminds us, all the stuff Superman has to go through and, his happiness and his downfalls. But it's not really necessary to the story, so we're going to completely ignore that for this review. Now, the first part of this is that there's an ancient Atlantean wizard slash mage slash sorcerer, whatever you want to call him. I'm just going to call him a wizard because, hey, I've been playing D&D a lot, and wizard's a cool thing to say. So anyways, this ancient Atlantean wizard, and his name, I believe you pronounce it Aaron. I'm going to call him Aaron. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. But he comes from the past to the future, and he's had these prophecies, these dreams, that the downfall of civilization is going to happen. And he tells Superman about these dreams. And in these dreams, and in this possible future, the whole entire world basically just falls apart. And the reason for this is because outside influences, outside the scheme of the world, such as Superman or Martian Manhunter or Starfire or aliens, for the most part, have been holding back the tide of the natural order of things for so long that, well, it's just been building up, and things are just going to get worse and worse. For example, he makes reference to like Atlantis or Camelot or other great civilizations, is that they reach their pinnacle and then they need to be destroyed in order for something better to grow on. However, because Superman and all these other heroes are around, well, this pinnacle civilization that we have now has not been able to be wiped out and be rebuilt better. Because of this, we see an apocalyptic future where most of the superheroes get their ass kicked, Superman gets thrown into a volcano. The only superheroes we really have left is a crippled Flash, for the most part, crippled from the waist down. Wonder Woman, I believe, is Donna Troy because it has her sword and her kind of designs that she got from the Titans of myth, but I'm not sure. It could be Diana, but we'll not get into that. It really doesn't much matter. And then a random Green Lantern and Lex Luthor, along with the Parasite. They're all working with Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. This is a apocalyptic future. There's no civilization, and they're fighting against this big superpowered evildoer thing. And I don't know his name. It's hard to pronounce, or I just didn't care to learn his name. He wears all blue, and he's basically this dude right here. Throughout this apocalyptic future we see the downfall. Superman eventually gets killed. This dude gets killed, but just civilization can't get reborn. So everyone's just fucked. And this wizard that told Superman of this prophecy says the only way to prevent this is just that you not do anything. Stop being Superman. Don't save any more lives. And throughout this comic, throughout these trades, Superman's in constant conflict on whether or not he should do this. Look at it from Superman's perspective. You can either stop saving several billions of people, millions of billions of people, the millions and millions of the Rock fans. Sorry, I had to throw it in there. But you can stop saving all these millions of people and allow the natural order things to happen to prevent this post-apocalyptic outcome, or you can save these people and have a possible apocalypse go on. See, it's kind of a conflict for Superman. In addition to that, we got a few subplots too. One of which is Superman going around trying to learn the best he can about magic and all that. He goes to Zatanna for help, which is really weird because she's the last person I think he would go to. I think he would go to like Dr. Fate or Phantom Strange. He eventually goes to Phantom Strange, but anyways, him going around searching for magic. We find out Lana Lang is now in charge of LexCorp, which is interesting because we get to see a great change in Lana Lang here. Is that Lana Lang is starting to become so focused on her work because she's not around her family, not able to have the family that she wants. she starts to get so focused on LexCorp that, it really starts to turn out to be a bad thing, as you'll see in Superman, Batman, The Search for Kryptonite. But that's a different story for a different time. There's also this alien called Subject 17, which is actually kind of a cool character. He shows up through both volumes, and Superman has to deal with him. He's kind of a tragic bad guy. I don't want to say he's a bad guy because, well, he's not really bad. He's just kind of screwed up. But anyways, he plays a part in this also. But on a whole, Superman eventually comes to the correct conclusion on what he should do. And you're going to have to read this to really discover what that conclusion is. But I'm sure you can figure it out because it's Superman. It's not that hard to figure out. In addition to this, there's a few other, character developments that start to grow off all the previous Superman stuff, like Lois Lane, obviously Lana Lang, like I said. You get to see Superman, again, get into conflict about what he should do. In addition, you see Perry White's position on things, which is interesting because Perry White, since the 1 year latest, has started to really change his perspective and view on Superman. But with that said, let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. I like the fact that this story isn't just your standard Superman beat the shit out of shit. Now, I know there's tons of Superman stories out there that isn't like that are similar to this, but not quite as much as the standard ground and pound Superman story. I like how this is different. It's a moral dilemma Superman has to deal with, and I find that interesting. In addition to that, I like how they deal with things with Lana Lang. Like I said, if you read that Superman Batman volume 6 or 7, The Search for Kryptonite, you get to see how this character development really comes full circle up there. Because, she says that, I'm saving people's jobs, but what extent does she go to save these people's jobs? The art is nice. I like the art in this too. With the exception of Lois Lane's hair, it's really not good. She looks like a puppy with her hair. Anyways. The art is for the most part good, except for Lois Lane's hair. I also like the post-apocalyptic future and how it was narrated by Lois Lane and then by Jimmy Olsen. Kind of eerie. The new characters that were introduced for this story solely, like Aaron the Wizard, I think I'm saying his name right, or Subject 17, I think they're cool characters. It's just a shame I don't think they're going to be used for much more later. So, the characters introduced is nice, and the action that is in there is good. Downsides. Well, the first downside is, why the fuck did you make it 2 volumes? That's just annoying as hell. But, really, the first downside is that this kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger. It leaves with the door open for the possibilities of stuff for happening. Now, right now I'm reading Superman the Third Kryptonian, so I don't know if the themes that are brought up in this show up later on in other stories. By the time I post this up, I probably will know. But for the sake of this story itself, for a self-contained story, it's left very open, and it would have been nice to have at least a little bit of resolve. In the grand scheme of things, if these themes are picked up again, it's okay. But when it comes down to the story itself, it's a little annoying. Lois Lane, again, wearing panties when she's home, the only thing she wears. What the fuck? I know some people will be happy with that, but it just seems so non-Lois Lane. So that's just something I'm throwing out there. And again, some characters just kind of disappear. Like Aaron goes somewhere, I'm not going to say, and Subject 17 kind of just disappears. And I would like to see more done with these characters. On a whole, Camelot Falls is a good story. Is it fantastic? No. But it did surprise me. It did turn out to be better than I thought it was going to be. If it wasn't left so open-ended, and if they did a little bit more with the characters so that they could transition over into other Superman stories, I would have liked that. Because after reading this, I move on to the Third Kryptonian, and it feels like none of these themes show up. It's not even like Superman's bothered by this possible post-apocalyptic future. So, with that said, I do recommend picking this up. Essential to Superman reading. Good stories. Are they perfect? No, but I recommend getting them online for cheap, just so that you don't have to pay full price for both volumes. Again, it would have been nice if they gave us just one volume, but they didn't, so we're going to have to live. So with that said, Superman Camelot Falls Volume 1 and 2. Pick them up. With this said, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.